What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So the Lakers got a victory against the Spurs the other day, 125 to 109. Austin Reeves had 30 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. I believe second straight victory. They had one earlier in the week against the Phoenix Suns, and then they got one against the Spurs. I didn't know they were playing that early yesterday, but luckily they still got that victory. Or maybe you're watching this Wednesday, so I think it was Monday. But either way, all the days are blending in together. Yes, they are on a little bit of a 2-game win streak. I believe when you're watching this, they play against the Denver Nuggets, who they recently lost to at Denver. So hopefully they get a little bit of a boost at home. And I don't know when LeBron is coming back. A lot of people are saying that LeBron might be faking his injury to kind of rest up for the playoffs. But I don't know. It's kind of weird if he is. But if he does, then he better come prepared to play and get us far in the playoffs. That's all I got to say about that. And then the final AP poll came out for the men's college basketball teams. Of course, Duke was ranked number 1, and I was kind of surprised that they weren't the number 1 overall seed. I think they were like the second, and then they made Auburn the number 1, even though Auburn didn't even win their conference, and Duke did beat Auburn earlier this year. And I don't know, they just didn't want to give it to Duke, but Duke is actually in a pretty good spot because they still get to play in the state of North Carolina in Raleigh this Friday and Sunday, and then if they advance to the Sweet 16 and round of 32 and all that stuff, they get to play up there in Newark, New Jersey, which is basically like Duke number 2, their second home state. So whenever they get to play up there, Madison Square Garden, or where the Nets play in New Jersey, a lot of Duke fans come out. So kind of sets up nicely for them for the next couple of rounds if they can still advance. But we'll see how they do. But a lot of people, when it comes to betting, according to FanDuel, Duke apparently has the top odds to win the NCAA tournament, which is still pretty cool. Obviously, the other number 1 seeds, Florida, Auburn, and Houston, are right around there. But either way, hoping for some good luck, and hopefully I'd hear some good news too about Cooper Flagg. So I haven't heard officially if he's going to be playing. I won't be 100% surprised if he's not, just because it's a team that they should beat pretty easily no matter what. But I would like to see him get out there at least 10 to 15 minutes, something like that, so he doesn't get too much out of shape. But speaking of some other stuff he was able to get, according to, I think it was Sporting News, he was their first team All-American. He made that list. And then a couple of finalists for the Naismith Trophy Awards. He was a finalist for the Player of the Year on that side. And then Coach John Shire was a semifinalist for that of the Coach of the Year too, which is pretty cool. So I'm pretty sure, I don't know officially if those awards got given out, but if they didn't win it, then it's not, obviously pretty bad look on that award trophy to not get given to them. And then, yes, when it comes to some of the shoes they're going to be wearing, they're still going to be rocking the Kobe Nike ones that I think I showed the other day that USC is going to be rocking during the tournament. They're still the same type of stuff. It's just obviously the different school colors, but hopefully that does bring a little bit of luck to, I think, the Black Mamba. They're part of that whole stuff, so that's pretty cool. I think Vanessa Bryant chose both USC and Duke, so hopefully both sides will be repping that in the tournament, as I said. Then when it came to Paulo Banchero, yes, he's already reached 4,000 career points, which is pretty insane for the Orlando Magic, so congrats to him. And then Zion Williamson had 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 12 assists, a new career high. I believe he joined CP3 as the only players in franchise history with multiple triple-doubles on 60% plus shooting while getting that type of stat line. So yeah, congrats to him, and he's been playing pretty well. I think he had 30 points also the other night too, but as long as he's healthy, he's been playing pretty well for them, so hopefully that is the case moving forward. And then, yeah, a little bit more controversy when it comes to that North Carolina athletic director and the NCAA tournament. Apparently, because North Carolina got in to the tournament, he made an extra $104,000, and of course he just happens to be the chair of the March Madness basketball stuff. So I don't know, it's kind of getting a little bit of messed up for him. I think they kind of rotate whatever committee they have of like 10 or 12 people of athletic directors all throughout college sports or college basketball, and then I guess it's just his year to be the main chairman. And of course he has some controversy with North Carolina, who struggled a lot this year, and then now all of a sudden all this other news is coming out. So a lot of people are upset. I think even West Virginia, the mayor and some other people are trying to sue the NCAA or file a lawsuit. I don't know what that's going to do. It's not like they're going to stop the tournament just for that, or people aren't going to play it. I mean, they probably should, and they could probably get North Carolina kicked out. But I believe they're playing tonight, Tuesday night, to be able to get into the tournament officially. And either way, I still think they're going to lose, whether it's tonight or in the first round. At least that's all I can hope for as a Duke fan. And then Trey Jones, who was traded to the Bulls, next Duke player, has been playing pretty well for the Bulls. Apparently, he's been one of their unsung heroes. He's been averaging over 14 points, shooting over 66%, averaging 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 steal in the last 10 games since he's been playing more. And I believe since then they've been 5-2 when he's been in the starting lineup. So hopefully they can keep him around quite a bit. And then Jabari Parker, one of their ex-Duke great basketball players, he says people say he's a tragic story, but he asks what's tragic about him. He made millions of dollars, fed his family, he brought his family out of the ghetto. Those same people who probably wrote those stories haven't even achieved 1% of what he's done. Yeah, it's kind of hard whenever you think about his career trajectory, because he was considered like probably the next LeBron when it would come to him coming out of high school and then going to Duke and all that stuff, and then just tore his ACL. I think he had definitely 2, maybe 3 knee surgeries within his first couple of years in the NBA, and a lot of people said he didn't want to play defense, just cared about offense, and at times because of those surgeries he wasn't athletic anymore or being able to get his shot. So he is actually playing overseas, I think in Barcelona or somewhere like that, and still making money, still playing, still healthy, but he's trying to make a little bit of a comeback to the NBA. I think he's only like 28, which is still pretty crazy. So he still has a chance if a team wants to take them on his roster later, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't think he can get it this season, but definitely next season and into the future, he has a chance. So looking forward to that. And yes, the Chargers made another signing. They got a center named Andrew James. I think that's his name. No, excuse me, Andre James. So he's recently playing with the Raiders, and I believe he was once a UCLA player, so kind of the double negative in my opinion, but I guess he's going to battle it out with Bradley Bozeman to see who could be the starting center for the team. But I don't know, they're just taking a chance, so it's not a lot of money spent here, so I'm not that worried about it. Then when it came to some of the biggest bargains in free agency, according to Fox Sports or Carmen Vitale, they have Mekhi Becton, number 3, the offensive lineman the Chargers got, and at number 6, Najee Harris, the running back. Obviously, they had some pretty cheap deals for what they could have got, but hopefully they could turn those into some good productive season coming up this year and hopefully get this team a little bit farther into the playoffs. And then I believe it was Daniel Jeremiah put out his 3rd mock draft, and they showed the Chargers pick, and they had him taking Tetairoa McMillan, the wide receiver out of Arizona, which is obviously pretty crazy because he was a guy who wanted to go to USC because he's a local guy from Orange County and has played very well his first 3 years in college with Arizona, and then he's in the NFL, and he's going to get maybe selected in the first round, but everybody was kind of worried because he didn't run that 40 to see how quick he was, but he's already like 6'4", 6'5", and still very athletic and jump very high and stuff for his size, but I think he did run like a 4'4" or 4'5", which is still very good for someone who is that tall, so I don't really see him dropping this far because of that. He should still be like a top 10, top 15 pick where he has already been projected. That's why I kind of thought it was weird that he was available in this mock draft because he's always gone way higher. But if this is the case, then that's the perfect scenario in my mind for my LA Chargers. And there were some rumors going around about some guys that could be traded to the Chargers in the wide receiver George Pickens from the Steelers and the Cowboys defensive lineman / linebacker Micah Parsons. I guess especially if they become upset in their new situations and the Chargers are the most likely destination. Everybody keeps saying that for a lot of disgruntled free agents or guys to get traded to the Chargers, and then it just never seems to happen. So, I mean, I guess you could take this with a grain of salt, but I would kind of take either of those players, in my opinion. Then when it came to some more like draft stuff for guys that are meeting or the Chargers are talking to, there's a defensive tackle, and Zeke Biggers from Georgia Tech. Apparently, he has met with the Chargers. Another Penn State defensive back, Jalen Kimber, apparently is getting some interest from the Chargers. So yeah, that's pretty interesting guys to look at. And then Simon Gudormson and the pole vault for the men's Duke side is now a national champion in that sport. So congrats to him. The Anaheim Ducks got a victory against the Nashville Predators 2-1 the other day. And then I know Rodney Dunham, the 5-star edge, put out a top 5. I talked about him the last time, but I only mentioned him as a 4-star. I didn't know he was rated as a 5-star in other places, and I know Duke has a little bit of a long shot on the football side to get him, but if they were able to get him, he'd probably be a higher ranked player than what Bryce Davis was this last recruiting cycle. And a couple more recruiting updates for the Duke football. A 4-star running back and Amir Brown set up a spring visit to Duke on April 19th, and a 6'6" offensive tackle Carter Jones has a Duke spring visit on April 10th too. So he's not ranked, but 6'6" and visiting some other very talented up-and-coming schools, so he must have a lot of juice. So hopefully this guy ends up being a diamond in the rough. Then when it comes to the women's softball, obviously softball is women, they defeated Syracuse the other day 3-1, and then 6-0 against Syracuse again. And they were able to defeat Liberty 7-3 and then 3-2 in back-to-back games today. So yes, congrats to those ladies, and hopefully they can continue playing well as they have been this early part of the season. And speaking of that Joey Bosa move the other day, yeah, apparently now Derwin James is the only longest tenured player on the Chargers as of right now. So once they lose him, then I don't know who is. Maybe it's Justin Herbert. I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty crazy how he's now the longest guy playing there since then. And then the men's baseball side for Duke, they did get a victory. I think that was George Mason 6-3, and they beat them again 6-3. Then they beat UConn the other day 12-2. Then the Duke lacrosse men's team did defeat Providence 16-10. Andrew Micadori got 100 career goals. Congrats. And then they're able to defeat Richmond 13-12 in double overtime. So congrats to those guys. And then Connor Barquette was a national champion qualifier at 285 pounds for the Duke wrestling. So we'll see how he does. And then a couple of people qualified for the Duke fencing on both the men and women's side. So good luck to those athletes. And then Grace Ping, who is a cross-country distance runner from Phoenix, Arizona, committed to the Duke squad. So yeah, congrats to her. And we'll see what she can do in the future for the Duke program. So thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Let's go Duke.